just got done watching the fights. The kids are asleep. The wife's in the other room doing, well, what wives do.
Am I the only one that does a goddamn thing around here? How hard is it to pick up that damn thing?
So, decision time. You could either go in the other room and deal with...
After all I've done today, you expect me to wanna...
Or keep it locked right here, because it's time for the Billy C. post-fight wrap-up on Fight Now TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Fight Now Manny Pacquiao. I'm just shocked. Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez post-fight show here on Fight Now and on BillyCBoxing.com. Glad you could join us. The fight just ended moments ago in dramatic fashion, to say the least. Juan Manuel Marquez knocks out Manny Pacquiao at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the sixth round in what was shaping up to be a pretty exciting fight. Talk about going down. I mean, Manny Pacquiao hit that canvas. Oh my goodness! What a shot that was. You know, I'm watching the fights, and every punch that Manny's landing. And then seemingly flush on Juan Manuel Marquez. You know, it just didn't seem like anything was hurting the guy. I mean, yeah, he looked stunned a couple of times during the fight, but man, it just nothing seemed to be hurting him at all. We're going to be opening up the phone lines here in a second. Get your thoughts on what's going on here, but unbelievable. You know, a fitting. A final fight to a pay-per-view card that, for the most part, was pretty terrible in my opinion. I thought that the card itself wasn't that great. I mean, the undercard was kind of terrible. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't even know how you can sugarcoat it or anything. But I thought that it was terrible. The undercard. However, the final fight of the night. Obviously, is going to make everybody forget about the rest of the card. So now we're going to be trying to get Tony Treem on the line. He's ringside right now in Las Vegas. I'm wondering what's going on. We got the chat room open. I see my man Brooklyn Mike is in there. People are still probably listening to whatever they're talking about on the broadcast because I don't know because I'm sitting here doing the show. And I think I got him on the line right now. Tony Treem, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Well, geez, man. I mean, what a shocking ending to a fight, an abrupt ending. What's going on, man?
Unbelievable, Bill. Unbelievable.
Give me your thoughts, man.
What a fight. Manny has nothing to be ashamed of, my man. What a fight. I can't believe that overhand right that won through in the second and then the sixth. I thought Manny was hurt the way he went down and took forever to get up, but he seems to be okay. I think this is into Manny's career.
Yeah, I think it should end Manny's career. One thing I noticed is, Manny seemed like he had some fire going on for sure. Tony, I'm going to have to call you back because we just lost you. I felt that Manny had some fire, and he certainly was performing at a high level. But what I also noticed was that Manny Pacquiao seemed to be throwing. Tony, I lost you there for a second. Manny Pacquiao seemed to be throwing.
You're cutting out, Bill.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao seemed. Manny Pacquiao seemed to be, throwing his punches from kind of a little too far away. What did you think?
Yes, he was, but he was bobbing and weaving and moving his head like he's never had before, or that I can remember him with a bobbing and weaving, but not moving his head like he did tonight. I think that was a new approach, trying to ward off Marquez, but Marquez caught him. Marquez had a plan tonight, and like I said in the post-fight weigh-in, Marquez was going to knock him out, and he did it.
You know,
he just didn't do it in the fifth. He did it in the sixth.
You know, it looked like Marquez wasn't being affected by Manny's punches. Manny was landing a couple of shots flush. They didn't seem to hurt Juan Manuel Marquez in the previous round.
He broke Juan's nose.
I know.
In the fourth round. He was concerned about that at ringside. They didn't think he was going to be able to continue. So I think Marquez came to a decision where he had to end it, or the fight was over for him. He couldn't breathe.
Right, and in the fifth round, it looked like Manny had Juan Manuel Marquez in some serious trouble. He looked hurt, but he was solid. He was stable. It didn't look like Manny was having much luck getting him off his feet. Even the knockdown was kind of just like a balance thing. It just seemed like he was indestructible tonight, even with the broken nose.
Absolutely. I don't, Manny's 8-time world champion, a great man, and I hated to see it end like this for him, but it is what it is. It's boxing, man.
You know, they were talking on the broadcast. They briefly said, "Oh, maybe we'll have a fifth fight." I don't think we needed a fifth fight. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't think they needed the fourth one, to be honest with you.
Well, it
was a good fight. It was entertaining. All 6 rounds they were toe-to-toe. They were going at it. It was one of the best fights I've seen in a long time, Bill.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the rest of the card wasn't even half as exciting. Yeah, I mean, I was very disappointed in Gamboa. I saw a lot of flaws in him. It looks like Gamboa may not even be able to take much of a punch. It seems to me, anyway.
He's always been down in fights, Billy. I mean, hadn't he been down to the fight he's been in?
Yeah, that was the 6th time. He was down 5 times previously. But it seems like he's even slow. It seems like he lost a little speed, and he has no defense. Zilch.
Well, I don't like that holding hands low and that his style of fighting. I don't like his style because those hands to me is showboating, and that moving straight back is dangerous. It had to hurt you every time, and he does that a lot. And I don't think he's got much on a comeback. In fact, he's been off 18 months, I think, and I think he should maybe have one more fight and call it good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is he was off 14 months, and he looked a little rusty. It almost looked like he was trying to change his style there in the beginning of the fight. But then, he did what he did best, but it just wasn't exciting. I kept waiting for something to happen, and it never did. And even the Gesta fight was a snooze fest. And the opening fight of the night, Patrick Hyland, he's got a tough chin. He reminds me of Andy Lee, but again, that was it wasn't too exciting.
That was not an exciting fight. But, I've never seen a Highland fight before, so I was looking forward to the fight, and I was really disappointed in that. And I was disappointed in the whole card except for the main event, to be honest with you. I think Top Rank put together some very poor fights for this fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, on paper they looked good, and styles make fights. Now back to the main event. Are you hearing any rumblings? Is Manny okay? And I know he was smiling and he was up on the stool when I came down to start the show. But any updates you can give us?
Can you repeat that, Bill?
I said, can you give us any updates on Manny Pacquiao? Did you hear anything about his condition? He seemed like he was okay.
Oh, he's okay. He was smiling and and everything's okay. I think his wife and Bob Arum's more upset than Manny is.
Yeah, I can imagine. But anyway, so Tony, we just lost you. I appreciate the I appreciate the ringside interview. Great stuff, and we'll open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 845-228-8710. That's 845-228-8710. Give us a call. Let us know what you think of the fights. Manny Pacquiao knocked out at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the 6th round of a scheduled 12-rounder. Juan Manuel Marquez, in my opinion, looked real good. The question is, did he look too good? Joining us right now is Brooklyn Mikey. What's up, brother?
How are you, brother? What'd you think?
I saw your comment in the chat room. I think you're right. I think there is going to be some speculation about performance-enhancing drugs, but I also think that he had a game plan and he followed it. I thought that Manny was throwing his punches a little too far away. I don't know what else to say. I think this might be the end of Manny Pacquiao. Maybe it should be.
I think so, and I agree about the punches. I thought Manny was a little cautious. He was using the head movement a lot more, which I think actually confused Juan Manuel a little bit. He was so used to Manny, just coming straight in on him, and he was, like I said, using a lot of head movement. And the knockdown punch, the knockout punch, I should say, if you watch the replay, that's the time that Manny didn't use the head movement, and his hands were down by his waist, and that was what Juan Manuel was looking for. It was that's the old Manny, the Manny that he knows, and he came in, tried to fake, hands were down, and boom, he timed it perfectly.
Yeah, it's as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I don't know what Pacquiao's going to say or Bob Arum or Freddie Roach. But I think it's over for Manny. I think he has other interests, obviously. I think he honestly gave it his all. I really do. I think he was serious. It looked like it. He was aggressive. I thought I was watching a Manny Pacquiao of old performance, and then it abruptly ended. And Marquez was beaten up, just like Tony was saying. His nose appeared broken. He had a swollen face. Manny was connecting with him, but was doing no damage. Zilch.
No, and the knockdown of Juan Manuel, like you said, it was more of a balance thing. I mean, he hit him, but you could see where his foot, they were touching, their feet were kind of tangled up a little bit. I think he hurt him actually more towards the end of the round. He kind of rocked him, and that those punches were more damaging than the actual knockdown. But Manuel he was able to take everything, and I hate to say this, and you saw what I wrote in the chat room, but there's going to be speculation. I mean, his strength and conditioning coach was Angel Hernandez, and he was linked to Marion Jones, and there's just going to be speculation. If I had to say right now, is this guy a clean fighter? I don't know. I know he was just so determined to beat Manny Pacquiao, and when you're so determined to do something, maybe you'll go to any means to do it. That being said, he's a great champion. He knows Manny. He knows him well. He's a great counterpuncher, and he did what he had to do. Whether or not it was clean, I don't know.
Yeah, I hope that I hope the Manny Pacquiao fans don't cry that if they're going to if something's going to be uncovered or something like that. I hope it just happens and it gets announced. I certainly don't want that kind of speculation because it'll take away from basically a great fight. I mean, it ended abruptly. Manny ended up on the losing end, but it was very entertaining. It certainly was changing the sickness in my stomach from the rest of the fights, Brooklyn Mike. I mean, they were terrible.
Yeah, I didn't even watch. The only one I watched was the Gamboa fight. What turned my stomach was watching City come in on the chains and rap into his song. I said to a friend of mine, I tweeted that I heard Bob Arum was going to rap when Manny comes into the ring. I thought that was just ridiculous. But as far as Manny and like I said, the speculation we're talking about, no, it shouldn't take away from Marquez's victory. You and I spoke earlier today when we did our show, and I actually told you I felt Marquez was going to win. I said Manny's going to hit the canvas. I just didn't think it was be in such spectacular fashion. I thought, Marquez was just hungrier. It's something that he desperately wanted, and I felt he wanted it more than Manny. And it turns out it is what it is. He knocks him out, and we'll see where they both go from here.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, Mikey, and I'll look forward to our next gig next week, and we'll see what happens. Keep your eyes peeled. If you hear anything on the test results, let me know.
Okay, brother. I'll talk to you.
All right, take care. That's Brooklyn Mikey, and we got the phone lines open, and I'm taking another call right now. It looks like Amy Green. Amy Green, you're on the air. What's going on? What's going on? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
Who's this? You just called me. This is Billy C.
Oh, damn. Okay, I didn't know whose number it was. Yeah, I'm calling you. This is a post-fight call-in, right?
Yeah, what did you think?
Well, I was talking with Michelle Rosado earlier today, our good friend, the Raging Babe, and everything pretty much that I said came true. I said I didn't want to pick a winner, but I wanted to see a definitive ending. Well, and I think we got it.
Yeah, we did, and it was an exciting fight. I wasn't too impressed with the undercard at all, but Manny Pacquiao, to me, I've been saying this to the other callers, I thought he was letting his hands go. I thought his distance was off. I thought he was a little too far away. And Juan Manuel Marquez just looked like he was waiting, and man, that last shot, that was a game changer right there.
That changed his game and changed his life, and it was shades of Paul Williams. I mean, I know that's probably what Sergio Martinez thought just a few rows away.
Well, I'm thinking that should be it for Manny Pacquiao. At least if it were up to me, I'd say to Manny, you've done everything you could do. There's no sense in him taking another beating. I think both of these guys should walk away at this point. What's your thoughts?
I think Marquez has survived to fight another day, and I think that Freddie Roach is probably going to tell Manny, I think you're done, son, because he sees things a little bit more humanely than Bob Arum would. Well,
I'll tell you what, I didn't hear much instruction from Freddie, and that's like he's not having a good year himself. So who knows?
No, he's not. But it's boxing. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off, and I think in some of the 24/7s, I didn't watch all of them, but my husband did, and he said that he kind of caught Freddie, hinting at, if you don't have a good performance. He didn't hint at it, Tim said. He said he came out and said it. If you don't do well, maybe this should be it. I don't think he'll be shy about telling Manny what he thinks. But that was a devastating knockout of the year, and he was still for so long. It was kind of nauseating.
Yeah, at least he was smiling, and he seemed like he was okay. But man, when you fall flat on your face like that, and I was ready to give him the round. He was winning the round, So amazing stuff. We got to give Juan Manuel Marquez all the credit in the world. It looked like he was having trouble seeing. The nose was apparently broken, or at least bleeding really bad. And we just lost Amy. So give us a call. The phone lines are open. 845-228-8710. That's 845-228-8710. Brooklyn Mike was on before. We just had Amy Green. Brooklyn Mike is thinking that there's going to be some speculation of performance-enhancing drug use on Juan Manuel Marquez's part. Like I was saying a little earlier, I hope not, man. I don't want to taint the victory with that. If something like that does come out, then fine. But at this point in the game, I hope that it doesn't happen. Joining us right now, I think, is my man Johnny Blaze, right?
Billy C, how you been, buddy?
I don't know, better than Manny Pacquiao's doing right now. What's your thoughts on the fight?
Man, that was, knockout of the year potential for sure. I mean, at this point of the year, and it's almost over, that's the best knockout I've seen. Yeah,
it definitely was good. What did you think of the fight going, just before it ended? I mean, where do you think it was going?
Well, I mean, Pacquiao was winning the score. It was a close fight. Both guys, had a 10-8 round. So, it doesn't get more interesting than that, unless you're looking at maybe one of the other Pacquiao-Marquez fights, because this was true to form. I mean, it was actually, to be honest with you, I think it was shaping up to be the best out of all four. I mean, he got caught. He got caught with a counter right hand he didn't see coming. And, I mean, somebody like Mayweather would never get caught by a shot like that. And, I mean, that one, it rung his bell. And I think you hit the nail on the head in the chat room. When his face hit the ground, that's when the fight was over. I think we were going to see a bad knockdown, but the way he fell, man, I mean, it was like he got knocked out twice.
I know. You know, the whole thing is he was knocked down twice in this fight, and in the third round, it looked like one of those kind of flash knockdowns. You know, he didn't look hurt, man. He didn't. And Juan Manuel Marquez, he went down as well. He didn't look hurt. You know, I figured, okay, it's going to be a back-and-forth fight. Manny was winning that round, that sixth round, at least on my scorecard, up until that last second, and then that was a crushing blow. I mean, he just walked into it and lights out.
I agree with you score-wise. I mean, Manny was winning the last round. Both guys, they were somewhat tentative. I liked Pacquiao's game plan. He was more aggressive, but he was timing his shots more. It seemed like he was understanding distancing, and I mean, this is where you're gonna have the question if they're gonna. And you mentioned this a few minutes ago, and it caught my ear right away when I heard it on the radio. If they question Juan Manuel Marquez about PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, they got to question Pacquiao. Both guys looked huge. I mean, huge going into this fight. And this wasn't going 12 rounds. I mean, there's no way the way that these guys were throwing those punches that, I mean, they get hit and they're getting wobbled just like we had seen before. But, I mean, Marquez's face was constantly getting busted up. If you remember the first fight, after three knockdowns, Marquez didn't look as bad as he did tonight.
He didn't look too good. I know. He didn't look too good, at the beginning of that sixth round. It just was an amazing ending, an abrupt ending. Lampley had said, man, we're already in the sixth round. This fight is flying by. And I'm saying to myself, it is. It really is. I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, those other fights were all snooze fests. And then we get the main event, and it lives up to exactly what we thought. Fights like that sometimes, John, even though they're half the length that we wanted, sometimes they're better off that way.
Yeah, this was one of those things where if they have a fifth fight, I mean, after watching this fight, we realized that there's no point anymore in either of these guys fighting against Mayweather. Mayweather, the way that he toyed with Marquez, and seeing this fight here, I really don't think it's good for either one of these guys. I don't think a fight with each other is really good either, but it's almost warranted. I mean, you and I both saw it. Pacquiao was winning the score part of the fight. Both guys had 10-8 rounds. And Marquez closed the deal fair and square. I mean, Juan Manuel Marquez is a top pound-for-pound guy and has been for over a decade. So there's no shock that he was in this fight. But that knockout was pretty shocking. That was something I was expecting a knockout, but holy crap, man! He put him straight to. This was no TKO. That's a knockout.
Exactly. Nothing for nothing, but I give credit to both Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao for actually fighting each other. You allude to they shouldn't fight Floyd. Well, Floyd needs to fight somebody. Floyd needs to fight somebody and make a devastating, win like that. Like a signature win. Something that I don't think he does. He cherry picks opponents, and I don't think it's fair to talk about him. Right now. Juan Manuel Marquez deserves all the credit unless he tests dirty.
I understand what you're saying, and I do agree with you. However, if you're going to look at that division, you got to include Floyd Mayweather. I mean, let's be honest. Now, Juan Manuel Marquez is number 2, and if he is still fighting, which it looks like he is after the getting out of jail and everything, Mayweather is really number 1. And Pacquiao lost, so you can't be number 1 coming off a loss. And realistically, Juan Manuel Marquez has to be thrown back into that mix, so it kind of weakens. I mean, who knows? Maybe if they fight again, I know people made excuses about their last fight, saying how Mayweather came in bigger and overweight, and so maybe they'll find an excuse to make that one. But if you ask me, the closest fight is the one we saw tonight.
Well, the thing is keep one thing in mind. technically, we're talking welterweights here with Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao. Technically, Floyd is in the junior middleweight division. That was his last fight. That was his last win, although the WBC has let him keep his welterweight belt. So we don't even know what weight class he's going to fight in. So
True. That's true, too. I mean, but pound for pound, I mean, if the one thing I like about boxing is when you're going to compare guys pound for pound, we're in an era where they're close enough in size, you can put them in the ring together, and there really is no health scare. It's not like a 200-pounder versus a minimum weight. Like, dollar pound for pound guys, at least that we're talking about right now, they're around the right size.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, any thoughts on the undercard, John?
Just like you said, it was a snooze fest. I mean, the Gamboa, your boy Gamboa, you love to see this guy go in there, and he does everything you said. He has no defense whatsoever. He's as poor defensively as you ever said he is. But he puts on an exciting show for a while. I mean, it gets old if you see it for a while, and considering that this was a huge step down in class, you don't expect that. But at the same time, a huge layoff like that against a guy that's been boxing every day and is from when he was in Cuba and probably a little boy, I mean, that's probably the biggest break he's had in his career. So who knows where he looks out next time. But that was a good fight. The ones before that, I mean, I was looking to make something to eat. And I look every time I love to watch that one Mexican guy that fights like a matador. I can't remember his name right now. That was on the undercard.
Vasquez.
But if you don't like tactical boxing, and even tonight he bored me. So
yeah, Miguel Vasquez, a very boring fighter. People aren't going to be racing out to buy tickets for him. But Gesta didn't do much either. You know, I mean, he did nothing. You know, he did
just
absolutely
enough, Bill? Just enough to get a paycheck.
If that, and did you hear what one of the guys? I think Harold Letterman was saying that they should not pay him. He's saying that they should hold back his check. So
they were wild tonight on HBO, though, weren't they? I mean, you had Lampe at one point. I thought he wanted to get a lynch mob out there after what's his name, Hands of Stone's trainer, Margarito.
Yeah,
I mean, HBO was funny tonight.
Yeah, Capiteo. He was like in the seventh row or something like that.
Screaming his lungs out, and then you hear Lampe go, well, he's telling him what to do. He's supposed to be banned from boxing. I'm like sitting here watching it going, yeah, and the guy that actually put the cement in his hands, I watched him fight not that long ago, so what's that tell you?
Unbelievable. Well, listen, Johnny Blaze, I appreciate you calling in. Glad you're still up and about, and we're gonna grab another call here, all right?
Good stuff, Bill. Good show today, man. Keep it rolling. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
All right, brother. Take care. That's Johnny Blaze from Canada. And we got another caller on the line. Alex Papali joins us. What's up, man?
Hey, Billy C. How you doing?
Hey, you know what? Great fight. I mean, it was really exciting. Somebody was going to go down. I got to be honest. I didn't think Manny was going to go down as hard and as devastating as he did. But all the props to Juan Manuel Marquez. He did what he had to do. There's already discussions and talk about possible performance-enhancing drug use. What I've been saying earlier, Alex, and I don't mean to keep repeating it, but I'm just trying to get thoughts. I hope that people don't start crying about that until there's some proof. You know, I don't think we should taint this victory. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely something that you could make a case for it or in question about it, but you could make it about both men. I think that we saw that the fight, both guys are bigger and older, so the fight we saw, I don't think proves one way or the other definitively that they must be juiced. I think it definitely, in terms of just plain old boxing, we kind of saw that this is coming. This is one of the things that we talked about on Wednesday and even on the post weigh-in show last night, that maybe we were going to see this, where both guys, at least early, really come out there blasting away, and they sure did. I mean, it was like the Thriller in Manila, I guess. Both guys wanted to hurt each other a lot more and seemed to be able to do it more often than they have in their previous 36 rounds.
Yeah. One thing I did notice technically, I noticed that Manny seemed to be throwing his punches from a little too far away. I saw that as far as Juan Manuel Marquez, I thought he was a little more tentative. I agree with Brooklyn Mike, who had called in a little earlier, who said that he thought that the head movement was confusing Juan Manuel Marquez a bit. And I think head movement is a great defensive strategy that a lot more fighters should do.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't think Manny, as I think you had said it in the chat room there that you had Manny winning. I think I had him winning too. I didn't. I haven't masked up my card, but I would assume I had him winning because of the knockdown that he had just scored, and I think even the round that he lost in, I thought he was winning. So it was certainly competitive, but I was getting the feeling that even though Marquez was, like you're saying, seemed to be holding back almost, it was almost a predatory holding back. He was watching. I think what Roy Jones Jr. said was right on. Marquez is smarter than Manny. In terms of boxing, I think he always has been. In the majority of the rounds, he's the one who's dominated him with boxing skills. Manny's always won with physical ability, speed, and power. But when you come right down to it, it's the boxing that won the day here, and I think that's pretty cool in terms of what we talk about a lot with the Blast is craft. If you watch that final knockout, there was no luck about that. He walked him into that right hand. That was the thing that Marquez knows. You can know Pac-Man's coming forward, and he walked right into that, hit him right on the mouth.
Yeah, it did. And the other side of the coin, though, Alex, is I agree with you. And we all know that Juan Manuel Marquez's strength was his counterpunching ability and stuff. And, of course, he's not going to, reinvent the wheel and become something different than, what got him to pound-for-pound status as it is. So I think we were all expecting counterpunching and waiting for his shots and being patient like he demonstrated. But the one thing I wasn't expecting was his ability to absorb the best that Manny gave. I mean, even the knockdown was kind of – Manny looked like he was in more trouble when he was knocked down than Juan Manuel Marquez was. It just – even though Manny was connecting flush himself, it did not seem to be stopping Juan Manuel Marquez in his tracks.
Oh, for a while there, I thought Manny was going to stop him because he was nailing him with shots, and it had him so bloody. But you're right. He did seem to be able to absorb them in a way that he didn't in the previous ones. We've seen his legs go a little rubbery in some of the other fights. I mean, Christ, in the first one, he was down 3 times. So, how I'm still marveled whenever I see that, how he got through that. But that's what we know about him. He has an incredible constitution and that's part of having a great chin, I mean, I think this is a guy that he was the one that one of the major stories here was he was trying to even a score, and he was not going to be denied.
No, and I couldn't believe Merchant was talking about, it looks like there's going to be a 5th now, and I'm like, yeah, right. There's no reason for a 5th. I think actually I vote for both of them hanging it up right now. I don't think Juan Manuel Marquez needs anything else to prove. As a matter of fact, in boxing, and I think you agree, there's nothing better when you have a chance to look back on your career. There's nothing better than going out on top with a big win. I know he's got some kind of bogus belt, but really going out on a positive note, because it's rare. Most fighters go out with that, I pushed the envelope one fight too much. People are going to remember me flopping around on the canvas, like Manny. Maybe that's, going to be his problem. But Juan Manuel Marquez, I think they both should retire.
Yeah, I think you could make a case for both of them. And I think if from what it looked like, if Jinky Pacquiao has any say in it, that's it. There was a couple of moments, quite honestly, we were watching it here, and we were pretty scared for a few seconds there. I mean, he didn't move.
I know. When you fall,
a scary knockdown.
When you go face first like that, and I didn't know who was more upset, who was crying more, Jinky or Bob Arum. Bob Arum looked like he was kind of upset too, thinking, "Oh no, there goes another payday for me." He just his payday just got knocked out.
Well, yeah, they made a $10 million gate, so I think that. That's what I saw on Twitter. So from Nigel Collins was tweeting that.
Yeah,
yesterday.
10 point.
I would think that even though he's upset for the future, he's still going to be going to bed happy tonight. Those guys always win.
Yeah, no, I mean
they lose.
They had $10.5 million in the gate, in the live gate right there in Las Vegas. And then who knows when they'll get the figures for pay-per-view. They soaked you for $60 for the pay-per-view.
I can't believe the cost. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that actually
$70 for HD.
I got HD for well, that's right. You have that Comcast company.
Yeah, they're brutal.
They're brutal. I had HD
I
had HD for $59.99.
Wow.
But anyway, Alex, I appreciate the call in. Exciting night. Well, it was an exciting fight. The rest of that card, real quick, that was poor, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lousy, but I tell you, I do think, as much as I enjoyed seeing Gamboa back, fascinating. Some of the qualities we see in him reminded me of Yoel Casamayor. Some of the not very good qualities, how he gets bored and listless in there, very, very arrogant, and he'll go back and forth between styles, the way Larry Merchant was pointing out. Sometimes he's a boxer, sometimes he's a slickster. The jury's still out on Gamboa. I think any talk about him against Broner would crush him.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Gamboa fan, and I wasn't impressed. And I see the same exact weaknesses I saw before, and then some. He just didn't look as fast. He looked, as bulked up as Juan Manuel Marquez. As a matter of fact,
I can't believe how big he looked.
Yeah,
Like
no.
welterweight.
He weighed 148.
He was a welterweight.
He weighed 148 the night of the fight. I don't know, man. It's getting out of hand. All these muscles on everybody, and everybody's.
I think that's really the sad part of this. The backdrop of this is as much as we saw the knockout of the year, the PEDs are really the story of the year, and that's unfortunate. But it's not just our sport; it's everybody.
Hey, they're all talking about PEDs. Everybody says how clean they are, and all I've seen is more muscles than.
I know.
It's it looks like something somebody would draw, like a cartoon character. You're into the comics. I'm sure comic book characters don't have as many muscles as we've been seeing in the boxing ring.
I don't know. I tell you, I got to put away I just do a multivitamin and an aspirin. I got to come up with some of the stuff they're using because these guys look great.
Hey, you got to use what they're using because you know what the best part is? It doesn't show up in any of the tests.
That's right.
Alex, I appreciate the call, my man.
Billy C, take care.
All right. We got the phone lines open. We're going to be hanging out for at least another 20 minutes, half hour, as long as you guys want to talk about the fight. I'm all jacked up. Give us a call, 845-228-8710. We're live on Fight Now TV. Glad you could join us. We're doing the Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez 4 post-fight show. The rest of the undercard was awful. Now I'm not gonna blame Top Rank for choosing a bad undercard. It just worked out that way. One of the fights I was really interested in seeing was the Yuriorkis Gamboa fight. Unfortunately, that particular fight just didn't do anything for me. I think that he's Gamboa. I think that he hasn't improved. He looked a little slower. They had him doing the same exact stuff. Trying to keep his hands up, trying to be un-Yuriorkis Gamboa-like, and then as soon as he gets the flash knockdown, bam, he comes back and does what he does. Listen, he's 30 years old. They should let him let his hands go. The only problem with him is he leaves himself open. He doesn't have much of a defense. Joining us right now, Dax Khan. What's your thoughts, man?
Like everybody else, I just could not believe the way, not so much the knockout happened, just the way it happened and the fashion it happened. That was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was abrupt. I thought it was a very exciting fight. I had Manny Pacquiao ahead up until the devastating end. I like I've been saying, I thought Manny was throwing his punches from a little too far away, but I was excited about seeing that fire in him again, that killer instinct was there. I just think everything's caught up to Manny Pacquiao, and personally, I think he should hang him up, and for that matter, I think so should Juan Manuel Marquez.
I started to see, I agree, Manny was up, but as you seen things go on, and you started to notice that Juan Manuel Marquez, even though he was down, and even though he did, I think he went down. What was it? The one time he touched his glove, he didn't go down, but his glove just scraped the canvas. He never really appeared hurt, and as soon as he started landing those body punches, those are what really started to affect Manny. And if you remember, early in Manny's career, that's exactly how Manny was knocked out when he was younger, was the body punches. That's always been his Achilles heel. And Juan Manuel Marquez just looked like an animal, and he started absorbing Manny's shots, as... dare I say, somebody who was like almost 2 weight classes smaller than him. And, you knew the tide was starting to change. And I just figured it was going to turn into an all-out war that, Juan Manuel was eventually going to crumble in. But, then you start thinking about how many times has Juan Manuel come back from those type of wars, to score a late knockout, for example, when he did against Juan Diaz. But never in any fashion did you expect in a blink of an eye to see Manny Pacquiao face down like that. And that's the type of KO that somebody suffers. When they suffer a KO that flat and that bad, they're never able to truly absorb punches anytime after that during their career, like they had in the past. So from Manny Pacquiao, it's definitely damaged goods.
Yeah, no, it's a shame. Listen, we got a lot of people calling in. All I could tell is if you're trying to call in right now, keep trying. As soon as the phone line's open, we'll grab the call. Dax, I appreciate your input, my man. We'll talk to you. We talk to you all the time, man. So we'll be talking to you Thursday.
Yeah, well, I got to go see Patrick Hyland for coffee.
Hey, I tell you what, before you go, I tell you, he impressed me. He's got a chin, man, and he's got some pop. I thought I was watching Andy Lee in there. His style exactly the same. I think if he would have let his hands go, like his corner was telling him, it might have been a closer fight. I think he was there to survive, or at least try and turn it up towards the end of the fight.
He wasn't there to survive. He wanted to win. But, just like you said, he wasn't really letting his hands go. And that really, in my opinion, that was his only real big mistake, was he didn't let his hands go. But then again, Fortuna didn't want to stand there and fight either. He wanted to showboat, he wanted to run, he wanted to dance around. If Fortuna would have went toe-to-toe with Patrick would have stopped.
I agree. And not only that, Fortuna was running out of gas. I think if Patrick Hyland stepped it up a little bit in those last 3 rounds, maybe an outcome would have changed. But I thought he did a respectable performance, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? I don't think he's, just like if you look in the chat room right now, like a lot of the guys were saying, it's definitely nice to put it on our Twitter account. It definitely wasn't the type of performance or the type of loss where people sit there and say, this guy was overrated, and, it was definitely not the type of performance where people don't want to see him again.
No, I hear you. Well, he got himself another payday. So, Dax, thanks for the insight, my man.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.
All right, take care. That's Dax Khan. You can check him out on Thursdays on the Talking Boxing with Billy C show right here on Fight Now TV. Hey, the phone lines are open. Give a call, 845-228-8710. 845-228-8710. I know a bunch of people were calling, but rather than have multiple people on the line, we're going to do one at a time. I'm still stuck on the Gamboa situation, My point with Yorikis Gamboa is the guy's got all this speed. He's got some pop. He's got foot movement. He's got everything but defense. And the other thing he's got, I think Alex made a great point and a great comparison with him. He does seem to lose focus during the fight. I don't know why everybody goes back and tries to, make him a defensive fighter and everything. Listen, the guy's career isn't going to be – he's got that style that he's not going to be around for the next 10 years. We're not going to see this guy Excuse me. He's 30 years old right now. I don't think we're going to see him much more after, another couple of years, 3 years maybe. I say let him go. Let him fight the way he fights and, overwhelm opponents early. There's no reason to drag his opponents into the later rounds. And then I just think he gets bored. I think he gets bored, sort of like the way I was getting with that whole undercard. I thought the undercard was terrible. Interesting thing with the Manny Pacquiao Juan Manuel Marquez card. Manny Pacquiao was a favorite in Las Vegas, meaning if you bet on Manny Pacquiao to win that fight, you had to lay extra money. Well, according to the bookies in Las Vegas, or I should say the sports book agents in Las Vegas, we have bookies here in New York. In Vegas, you have sports agents because you're allowed to do that. A lot of money was put on Juan Manuel Marquez towards the end. Now, if you watch the show, of course, you would have heard the pro Juan Manuel Marquez crowd. Now, Tony Treem, who joined us ringside as soon as the fight was over, he said that the crowd was all pro Juan Manuel Marquez as well. We knew that yesterday from the weigh-in as well. So, listen, I know there's no reason to leave a voicemail. Call in right now, 845-228-8710 if you want to get on the line. We had multiple people on, and then we couldn't answer the call. So now the line is open if you want to call back. Manny Pacquiao, what does he do now? What does he do now besides put ice on his head? Listen, the guy has proved everything that he needs to prove in the sport of boxing. He had his time. He was a pound-for-pound number one fighter for the longest time. Everybody's going to talk about the fight with Floyd. That never happened. It never happened. End of story. I think in the long run, when it's all said and done, I think the lack of that matchup never happening is going to hurt Floyd Mayweather more than it's going to hurt Manny Pacquiao. People are going to remember that Manny Pacquiao stepped up and fought guys that gave him a hard time like Juan Manuel Marquez. And even though he lost, I think he'll gain some respect from that. As far as the people that, the fans that don't want to hear it, they're going to make accusations. They're not going to want to accept this loss from Manny Pacquiao. Those are the people that are going to probably push Manny Pacquiao into fighting again. I hope that's not the case. Manny's not the same fighter. I mean, we saw it in his last several fights. He did not look that great against Shane Mosley. He certainly didn't look that great against Timothy Bradley, not enough to win, at least on the judges' scorecards. And, although I thought that he was back to the old Manny Pacquiao ways, kind of, tonight, there's still obviously some chinks in his armor. We talked about it all week. Could this have been proof that that Manny Pacquiao aged pretty quickly, and maybe it wasn't quickly. Maybe all these lackluster performances that we've been saying Manny had, maybe that was him aging, before our eyes. And nothing for nothing, but I didn't think Freddie Roach gave him much of instruction in the corner. That's something that he has not done in his last 4 fights. And it's not just Manny Pacquiao. Maybe Freddie Roach needs to consider what he's going to be doing next, too. Hey, we got somebody on the line. Who's this, and where are you calling from, man?
Yeah, this is Dave Murphy.
Dave Murphy. What'd you think, my man?
Oh, man. That was unexpected. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see it coming either. I mean, a lot of people picked Marquez.
Neither did Manny.
What's that?
Neither did Manny.
No, he definitely didn't see it. But, a lot of people picked Juan Manuel Marquez. There's already talk. Are you going to be one of these guys that thinks that maybe Juan Manuel Marquez had something that he shouldn't have in his system?
I think they were both juicing.
Even Manny looked small. I didn't think Manny looked as big as Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah, I think Marquez definitely was, because he was working with this Heredia or Angel Hernandez or whatever the hell he calls himself. He calls himself 2 different names. So yeah, I think Marquez is definitely juiced. But then I've always thought that Manny Manny was too, so I think it just kind of caught up with itself. Turned out it's fair play.
What goes on now? What do you think? Where does Manny go from here? Where does Juan Manuel Marquez go from here?
I don't know. That had to be a scary moment for his wife. I'm not so sure Jinky wants Manny to fight again.
Yeah, I don't think he should.
That was really scary when he was stretched out there. And this is a guy that they were probably only going to get one more year out of his career anyway. He was already talking about maybe walking away after one more year. I think he might push that up. I don't know. Aram, of course, will want to make it again. You know, it's more paydays. But
well,
thank God the one thing that ends tonight, we are never going to hear any more talk about Mayweather-Pacquiao.
I hope not. You know, I mean, I know the Mayweather fans are going to be pounding their chests over this, which they don't have a right to. The one credit that I'm going to give Manny Pacquiao for is fighting a guy like Juan Manuel Marquez. And I know what the Mayweather fans are going to say. They're going to say, "Oh, well, Floyd beat Marquez easily." Well, that's not the point. The point is that obviously styles make fights, and Juan Manuel Marquez was a difficult style for Manny Pacquiao. They proved that in 3 previous fights. You know, Manny Pacquiao did not have to fight that guy. You know, Floyd isn't going to fight a guy that gives him trouble, you know, not that anyone has. So I agree. I hope we don't hear about that anymore. It's time to move on.
I would tend to disagree with you because don't forget that Floyd fought that. He's been off for like 18 months. And I know you can make a point about the weight and how he paid. You know, he paid rather than get down to weight. You know, I think it's pretty obvious now. If we're talking all-time arguments, I think Floyd Mayweather's going to have the edge on Manny Pacquiao. I think that's no low contender right now. I think that's no contest.
I don't know. It depends what you look for. It depends what you look for in a fighter. I can't reward a fighter for ducking fighters. I just can't, you know. I think that the lack of the fight not being made, in other words, Floyd and Manny not fighting, I think that in the long run it's going to hurt Floyd more than Manny. At least that's my opinion, you know. But
we'll see. You know, I think I'm still thinking we're going to find out some things about Manny, you know, and that maybe there was smoke where there was fire. You know, as far as, you know, this Ariza, you know, I've never trusted Alex Ariza, and the strength and conditioning coaches have brought steroids into the sport. And, you know, I think we saw it in both guys tonight. I think in the end, I think we're gonna uncover that there was a little bit more to that. But I don't think Floyd's argument about not fighting him had really anything to do with that. Even if Manny was choosing, I think you're right.
Yeah,
he's worried about his zero.
Right, that's it. And that was my point. I mean, you know, I had thought that Floyd would beat Manny, especially after watching Manny's not tonight's fight, but previous to tonight, his last 4 fights. I thought that there was enough decline that I witnessed in Manny that should they have fought, Floyd would have won. But with that said, I still, you know, have more respect for a guy who's willing to get in the ring with someone rather than assume, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, like you said, it's not going to happen. I'm glad we don't have to talk about it, and that'll be that. Hey, before I let you go, Murph, any thoughts on the undercard?
Yeah, I would be fine with Mercito Desta having some of his purse clipped. That was a definite non-effort. I thought Patrick Hyland, that was something I didn't expect, a reasonably good fight there. So that was rewarding. And, you know, and the Vasquez fight was fun. So I thought we came out okay on the undercard. Guest disappointing, and Hyland doing better than I thought. So I thought we came out okay on the undercard.
Murph, I appreciate you calling in. We got another caller. I'll see you in the chat room, my man.
Okay.
All right.
See you Monday.
All right,
Bye.
brother. All right. That was Dave Murphy. He's in the chat room a lot. We just missed the other caller. Call back, 845-228-8710. We got another 10 minutes or so. We're going to stick around. So give us a call. Let me know your thoughts. 845-228-8710 is the call-in number. You know, I could see numbers popping up on the screen, but I'm only trying to take one at a time, like this one right now. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up? This is Billy C.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
Who's this? Who's this?
This is Chris Chapman from California.
Hey, Chris Chapman from
California.
How you doing, Chris? What'd you think of the fight, man? What'd you think of the knockout?
Oh my God, dude, that was absolutely insane. I can't believe that he stepped to the side and landed that so perfectly. It was insane. His neck, the back of Manny Pacquiao's neck, bent so much from the force of that punch. If you watch it and look at the back of his neck, it's insane.
I mean, when a fighter hits face first, you know they're out. I mean, there's no question about that. That wasn't a TKO. That was a knockout. Let me ask you this. Did you pick Marquez to win the fight, or were you going for Pacquiao?
Honestly, I picked Marquez for the fight only because I was paying close attention to the 24/7s. I was just and the fact that he explained that he was, I guess, so mad about the decision in 3 that he just decided to train from that day forward for this fight. But I somewhat think maybe that was a cover for his. I honestly, I don't know, that whole Alex Ariza guy is a little fishy.
Well, all of them have. I mean, what about Victor Conte? You know, he's in it too. You know, so I mean, these guys.
That's true.
You know, listen. The way they all look.
I can't discredit his knockout because it was too good. It was perfect boxing. It didn't take away from his skill. The only thing that would have added was his strength. You know, the skill of that was very. The way Roy Jones Jr. explained it, that was the first time I've heard Roy Jones actually articulate something that I could understand well, and it sounded good. But he seemed to be right on the money.
Yeah, you know why? Because he didn't throw in something about Roy Jones Jr. He didn't compare it to something he did. But you know, I think Juan Manuel Marquez was very patient in this fight. He showed his patience, and you know, like we've seen in the previous fights, this was a guy whose strength, especially against Manny Pacquiao, was his counterpunching ability. And I got to applaud him for sticking to his game plan, even though Manny looked, up until the stoppage, it looked like Manny was back to his old self. And obviously, if you look at their two faces right now, Juan Manuel Marquez looks like he lost the fight, you know. But you got to give him credit. He stayed true to his game plan, and it worked for him.
He sure did. That was so stunning. I couldn't believe that happened. It was, but I mean, I wonder how Freddie Roach feels. That's the one thing I've been wondering this whole time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Freddie Roach deserves to take some of the blame. You know, he hasn't been too successful lately, not only with Manny Pacquiao, but with his other fighters too. I mean, you know, we're always looking at Manny Pacquiao saying, oh, he's got all this stuff going on. He's involved with this and the other thing. Well, so's Freddie Roach. Maybe it's finally catching up with these guys.
I kind of believe so. All of his last fighters, they've just been doing terrible. So you're exactly right. I mean, Freddie Roach needs to take a look at himself and see if he's just not giving enough information to these people.
Well, let me ask you this: did you hear any constructive criticisms or any adjustments that were coming from Freddie's mouth during the fight tonight?
Absolutely not. Just like in the Cesar Chavez fight, he said nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing to him.
Right.
I don't understand where they think just go. How do you feel? Okay. Well, you got to keep going, man. You got to go forward. That doesn't help anybody do anything. It's
no.
Insane.
And not only that, but we make fun of the rah-rah men, at least I do. You know, I make fun of the rah-rah guys in the corner that say exactly what you just mimicked. And, you know, Freddie Roach is supposed to be, you know, a Trainer of the Year award. He's supposed to be a guy that's a good teacher and all of this. And all of a sudden he's become a rah-rah man, too.
I can agree with you more. He's doing exactly what I hear the worst trainers do. Just like Andre Berto's corner, everybody was just jumping up around like monkeys, screaming the same two words to him over and over again, and he couldn't even see. It was just. Dude, these trainers don't do anything.
Andre Berto, the only thing I'm going to say about Andre Berto is before I blame his trainer, I don't know. I can't hear a word his trainer's saying because his father and his brother, his brunkle and cousin.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
like 15 people there.
Yeah, they're all
throwing ice at him.
They're all exactly. They're all handing him water bottles, throwing him ice. His head is moving around in a swivel. Man, he can't wait to get out of that corner, just to get away from all of that chaos. I think Andre Berto, that's a whole nother story. But hey, before we let you go, what's your thoughts on the undercard? Was anything? Did you stay awake for it? I mean, what's your thoughts?
It was so very boring. Top ranked undercards have failed so very recently. They just their undercards never seem to pan out for me. I don't understand it. They're so boring almost every single time.
It's weird. It's weird because on paper they looked good. I think tonight we got handed we got dealt a bad deck because that I honestly thought. I mean, Mercito Guest is usually an exciting fighter. He did nothing, I mean that was bad.
Even though Gamboa was off and then he came back. I mean, I don't know. He was boring. I mean, I don't know. It was just a lot of it was just really boring.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm a big Gamboa fan, and I was just I don't know what I was expecting, but not that. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to get a decision. I wanted to see a devastating win. But anyway, hey, real quick, last question for you. What does Manny do now? Is it over for Manny? And what does Juan Manuel Marquez do?
Honestly, I don't know. I was going to ask you a question about it, but I can answer my own. I can ask you it in the way I answer this. I'm concerned. I don't know necessarily if it was his fault, other than the fact that he just jumped in like a moron. But if you watch the video in the slow motion, he's literally completely in midair when Juan Manuel Marquez makes connection, and he's not touching the floor at all, trying to jump forward to hit him, and he gets totally devastated by that and hit. I'm kind of wondering if he would have been on the ground with something holding him up, maybe he wouldn't have been knocked out cold. I don't know. It's very interesting the way it looks when he's in that movement towards Marquez. If you watch it, he almost trips on Marquez's foot because he's in midair. It's interesting. But that's right when he gets hit with the punch, and he's out like a light.
Well, he was wild. He was definitely wild. He was doing which he used to be. I mean, he was. We used to say he was like controlled wildness, but and he was doing that again. And you're right. He lunges forward. He leaves his feet. It makes you wonder. He knew that the round was coming to an end, and he was in a bad spot. He just lunged forward, and Juan Manuel Marquez took that sidestep, and we all know what happened after
and
that.
It was over. It was almost like someone, doing a leg flip on somebody, but just without the leg there because it was perfect, crazy.
Well, mathematics, right? You got one guy going one way, the fist coming the other, and it doubled up the force right there, and we all saw what happened. Hey, man, I appreciate the call.
Yeah, I appreciate the show, man. I love it. I listen to it all the time. So.
Good. Spread the word, my man.
Good word.
All right. Take care.
Sure. All right, man. Later.
Big fight this tonight in Las Vegas. Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao, the fourth fight, ended in dramatic fashion. No doubt about that. I think it's over. I don't think we're going to have to see a fifth one, although the guys on HBO were talking about that. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to leave the phone lines open for another 10 minutes or so. If you want to get your thoughts in, give me a call right now, 845-228-8710. That's 845-228-8710. We were supposed to go off a couple minutes ago, but we're going to stick around for a few. A lot of discussion, a lot of people in the chat room. People are talking about, who, which I don't understand why we need to talk about him. I think what we need to talk about is where do these guys go from here? Where does Manny Pacquiao go? Is he a guy that's going to hang him up at this point? Is Juan Manuel Marquez gonna drag it on? I mean, he's 39 years old. What's he gonna do for an encore? What a performance tonight! We got someone else on the line. Who are you and where you calling from, man?
Hey, what's up? See, this is King Shark Chase. Dax know me.
All right, man. What's up, Shark? What'd you think of the fight?
Oh man, I'm pissed. I'm highly pissed. I'm not happy at all. That was a red flag when I saw Romney at the fight, sitting in Pac-Man's corner.
I saw Romney. I was like, man, and he got a bird's eye view of that knockout, huh? It was right in front of him.
Yeah. I like baseball. It's like that was a jinx.
Well, to have him there, yeah. What did you think? Who were you rooting for in that one, Shark?
To me, like I told Dax all day, I figured Pac-Man would put an end to this, put out a statement, and send a message, bring on Floyd Mayweather. But, they both left the money on the table.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I think that after some time goes by, 10, 15 years from now, I think the fight that never happened will hurt Floyd more than it will hurt, or people will remember Floyd not fighting Manny. And I think that when Floyd looks back on it himself 20 years from now, he's going to regret it too, because I think Floyd would have beat him.
No, yeah, I agree totally with what you're saying. We all bought into the hype. We bought into the hype that Manny could give Floyd a chance. We didn't pay attention to how Floyd blew out Marquez. I don't think he paid attention to it himself, and he just left $40 million on the table.
Yeah, no, hey, you know what? The thing about it though is a guy like Floyd, he can do that because he'll make $40 million fighting somebody else. So we look at it, we can't fathom leaving that kind of money sitting around. But a guy like Floyd's going to be able to make the money anyway. So bank wise, money wise, it's not going to hurt Floyd. I'm just talking, history-wise. Yeah, in terms of boxing.
Really, he got some street cred on the page.
What did you think of the undercard? Did you have any thoughts on the undercard?
Like you said, it was hard. You had to be a true fan to stay awake. I thought Gamboa looked rusty. I thought he got exposed. He reminded me of Chris Nassim when he got exposed, but, he just happened to win. I thought the Irish cat was tough and should have turned it on a bit, and Jester just totally surprised me.
Well, I tell you what surprised me was 50 Cent flying in from the rafters. Even he was a little boring. They could have made that a little more exciting. I agreed. I don't agree with the HBO guys very often, but I agree that Prince Nassim Hamed had the best entrance coming in on that flying carpet those years ago. Remember?
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
That was good. That was good that he did that. But I thought 50 when they were talking about 50 Cent coming in with some great entrance, I thought it was going to be a little better than it was.
Yeah. His entrance and Gamboa are going to be short-lived if Gamboa don't tighten up his boxing skills.
No, you're right. You're right. But it's like I use the analogy all the time with Gamboa. It's like what they do. I'm gonna bring back a name. I don't know if you're a football fan, but it's like what they did with Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham was a quarterback that could run around and make things happen. And what do? They draft him and they want to make him a pocket passer. That's the same thing that they try to do the same thing with Gamboa. Gamboa is a wild kind of a guy. That's what made him what he is. Every time he comes back from a fight, when he gets back in the ring, he starts trying to be defensive and be structured and be disciplined. And we see what happens. He gets knocked on his butt, and then he goes back to himself and opens fire. And I think he should just fight like his normal self.
All right, no doubt. But, hey, Billy, before you cut me out, Gamboa versus Rios, who you think going to win after what you saw tonight? I'm sorry,
you broke up. Gamboa and who?
Gamboa versus Rios. After what you've seen tonight, what you think? Who you think will win?
Oh, I'm a big. I love both of these guys, but I tell you the truth. I don't know. I don't think that Gamboa will get up if Rios drops him. I think Gamboa has been lucky where he gets caught with these flash knockdowns. He gets right back up and he's not hurt. But Bam Bam Rios isn't that kind of a fighter. When you get dropped from Rios, you're going to stay down. If I'm Gamboa, I'm not racing to get in the ring with Bam Bam Rios.
All right. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, totally agree with you. Rios would drop him. Rios, he couldn't get back up, and it would be a wrap.
I think he let himself get too big. He weighed Gamboa weighed 148 pounds tonight. He kind of looked too big. He didn't look the way he used to. That's for sure.
Yeah, and didn't even bring power with it.
No. Well, he brought that. He was fighting a tough guy. That guy, Farinas was never knocked out. So he was fighting a tough guy. But you're right. I was expecting a decisive win. I was expecting a quick knockout. I was not expecting what we got from Gamboa.
Nah, not at all. But I'm associate. I'm gonna give him. No, I told Dak earlier. I don't want to hate on Gamboa. I'm not finna throw no stones on him or anything like that. He was ring rusty, so we're like Dak said, we'll give it time.
Exactly. Well, I agree with Dax, and the thing is, though, I also think that they should let him be Gamboa. Let him go, let him take the chances. Let him go out there, make the fight end quick, and ride the storm, because it's not going to last. When he finally gets knocked out, it's going to be over for him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, listen, Shark, I appreciate you calling. Call back again. You got to tune into our show, man.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
Sounds good, my man.
Guys.
Well, listen, I appreciate you calling.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too.
Call in. We got the lines open, 845-228-8710. I'm going to stick around for about another 6-7 minutes. So if you have any thoughts you want to get on the air, feel free. Bottom line, in case you're just joining us right now, in case you happen to have been on Mars or something, Juan Manuel Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of round number 6. And it was 6 exciting rounds up until the stoppage. A devastating knockout at the hands of Juan Manuel Marquez. As you heard it from one of the listeners that just called in, Juan Manuel Marquez, it was at the end of the round, and Manny Pacquiao was lunging forward, kind of off his feet. And as he was going forward towards Juan Manuel Marquez, Juan Manuel Marquez at the same time, which we've always talked about his ability to counterpunch, and sure enough, he was timed it just right, and came back with a devastating, crushing right hand that landed flush on the face of Manny Pacquiao. And not only did he go down, he landed face first on the canvas, and he was out. He laid there motionless for a while. It was a scary moment, but before we came down and went on air here, I saw that he was up and smiling. My big question right now is, what do these two guys do from this point on? If somebody asked me, what to tell them to do, in my opinion, I say they both retire. I've been saying it all night. I think Manny Pacquiao has given us plenty. He's got a career in politics in the Philippines. I don't think he loses face. I think people are always going to remember him for the years that he reigned on top, and then of course his style that has all the people going after him. It's a kill or be killed style, and when you have a kill or kill be style, sometimes you get killed, and that's what happened to him tonight, in a sense. Obviously not really. As far as Juan Manuel Marquez, what does he do? Well, you know what? A lot of times fighters don't know when to say when. I'm not a big, if you're a regular listener to this show, you know that I'm not a big fan of Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard Hopkins let his time slip away. The night that he beat up Kelly Pavlik should have been the night that he walked away. He followed that up. He had another opportunity when he beat when he won the title, and he could have walked away then, but no, he's still hanging around. Fighters, very rarely do they get the chance to go out on top. There's only a few that have. Of course, everyone talks about Rocky Marciano. Lennox Lewis is another one that walked away on top. We think that the Klitschko brothers may walk out on top. and Juan Manuel Marquez right now has the opportunity to walk away from the sport, A, with a humongous payday that he got from tonight, and B, avenging 3 arguably extremely close fights with Manny Pacquiao. And not only does he end it with a win, he ends it with a devastating knockout. So, if I was hired to advise to both of these guys, I would tell them, enough is enough. So that's my opinion. As we wrap it up here, the undercard wasn't that great. Javier Fortuna and Patrick Hyland opened up the pay-per-view broadcast, and when it was all said and done, it was a unanimous decision for Javier Fortuna, 118, 110, 116, 112, 115, 113, with the way the 3 judges scored that one for Fortuna to improve to 21-0. The next fight was really a very disappointing fight for me, considering I went with the underdog in this one, Mercito Gesta. I thought Gesta would come out and overwhelm Miguel Vasquez. He's a very cautious fighter. I loved the line Roy Jones Jr. said that even the referee had to chase him around one time just to raise his hand. He's a boring fighter, but he gets the job done. And the thing about Miguel Vasquez is that he lands the punches. He may be running and he may be moving away and all of that, but he lands the shots. Mercito Gesta should have tried to bully, get in close, just like his corner was saying. He did nothing of the sort, and basically went on to just survive the fight. The thing that I didn't understand about this fight was that I scored this fight 120 to 108. I didn't give one round to Gesta. I honestly didn't think he won one round. I was shocked at the scorecards. 117, 111, 119, 109, 118, 110. They were all over the place on that fight, so I'm not sure about that one. In the Gamboa fight, a fight that I was looking forward to, Yuriorkis Gamboa had been off for 14 months. I was expecting a Yuriorkis Gamboa-like performance, and I guess maybe we got one. We got the lackadaisical Gamboa. We saw him go down. We saw him show some flashes of speed and some power. And when it was all said and done, he wins a decision. Something that I wasn't expecting. The way the judges scored it was 117, 109, 118, 108, and 117, 108, all in favor of Gamboa. I unofficially scored it 118, 108, also for Yuriorkis Gamboa. And finally, the main event of the evening, Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao got it on for the 4th time. It was a fight that, I didn't think would lose its luster. I thought that these two fighters should have had a farewell fight at the end of next year. I thought maybe they could each get another fight in between. It didn't work out that way. And now, with the devastating knockout at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the 6th round, Juan Manuel Marquez stops Manny Pacquiao. I think it's over for Manny Pacquiao. There's nothing left for him to prove. As far as Juan Manuel Marquez, if I'm him, I hang him up as well. So, hey, listen, I want to thank everybody who called in and joined us here on Fight Now TV. Remember, you can catch us every day on Fight Now TV from 6 to 7:30. You can also catch us from 5:30 to 7:30 every single day, Monday through Friday, right here on BillyCBoxing.com. You could also check us out on a radio station near you. We're on stations throughout the United States and Canada. Or you can check us out through the podcast and YouTube. So all you got to do is visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com. Hey, I'm Bill Calogero, Billy C to you, and glad you could join us. Make sure you tune in Monday, man. Hey, it was a great fight, and we'll keep you posted, all right? Thanks for joining us. Ciao, baby.